Everything in the world needs roots if it's going to grow. What we are attached to can make all the difference in the world. Some of the attachments are healthy and good. Others can take the form of addictions or possessiveness. I can be so attached to things I own that I lose my sense of who I am apart from my stuff. I can be so attached to my family, which is generally good, but it can be so inside that a family sometimes has a difficult time looking outward to others. It's good to be attached to that one person that's the love of your life. That attachment brings fulfillment and meaning to your life. It brings love. And we all need that. Jesus uses the image of the vine and the branches to say that you, if you're going to bear fruit, if you're really going to live life to the fullest, you need to be attached to me. I am the vine. You are the branches. Apart from the vine, we wither and dry up. It's a beautiful image. And every person in Israel would have understood what he was talking about. The vineyards were an essential part of their life. And throughout the scriptures, God had referred to Israel as his vineyard. And sometimes then became deeply disappointed when the vineyard did not bear fruit. So when Jesus sits at the Last Supper talking to his disciples over a glass of wine, fruit of the vine, they understood. He says, I am the vine. That means we are the branches. We have to continue to grow attached to him. In the first reading today, we meet a man named Barnabas, not one of the original 12 apostles, but obviously someone who had deeply attached himself to Jesus and was respected by those first apostles as a good disciple. When the apostles in Jerusalem hear that Saul is preaching, that Saul, who was breathing out venom toward the early church, they didn't trust Saul. But when Barnabas spoke on his behalf, they trusted Barnabas. They knew Barnabas was deeply connected to Christ. And if Barnabas would testify to the validity of Paul's conversion, then Peter and James and the others were willing to listen, willing to give this guy named Paul now a chance. The church today would be maybe non-existent if it weren't for Barnabas. If Barnabas hadn't testified on the part of Paul what Paul managed to do in bringing the message of Jesus Christ to the world, may never have happened. But Paul needed Barnabas. The apostles needed Barnabas. They needed that interconnectedness in order to recognize the powerful experience that Saul had of Christ. And were able then to affirm his ministry of going out to the Gentiles. But if not connected to the vine, then how easy it would be for us to wither. It's a wonderful image always, I think, to return to. Jesus is the vine, and I am a branch. I'm just a branch. Sometimes we start living our life in such a way that we think we are the center, that we are the vine, that everything depends on me. Never do we want to get into that trap. We have to come back to the realization it all depends on God. It all depends on the vine, Jesus, not me. One of my favorite stories about Pope John the 23rd. You can imagine the responsibilities that the Pope would feel. He had started the Second Vatican Council and was getting all kind of pushback from his Curia friends. It was not going maybe as he fully expected. And then the Cuban Missile Crisis was taking place during those years. It looked like the whole world could blow up. He's trying to figure out, what am I going to do? And we're told that he prayed one night and said, God, this is your church. I'm going to bed. You know, I can worry, I can have sleepless nights, but this is your church. It's not mine. Oh yeah, I'm the Pope, but it's not my church. This is your church. John the 23rd, I think, had a real humility in knowing he was a branch, an important branch on the vine, but just a branch. And it didn't depend on him. And I think that's what we all need to have that kind of humility. If I'm going to be a fruitful disciple, if my life is going to bear fruit, it's going to be because I am committed to staying attached to the vine. And if others are going to get connected to the vine, they're going to need a Barnabas. I don't know if the plural of Barnabas is Barnabai, but I like the sound of that. We are the Barnabai of the day. We are at the corner of vine and liberty. We have the potential as disciples of Jesus to be like Barnabas, who help another get connected to Christ. Or maybe your task is to help someone else get reconnected to Christ. Barnabas means son of encouragement. We can be the sons and the daughters of encouragement, of trying to give some kind of witness to our own faith, so that we, again, draw others to get attached to the vine. Real life, fullness of life, fruitful life, depends on our being connected. And it's a wonderful thing if you look at a grapevine. It's not that every branch is just connected to the vine, but a branch has another branch, and has another branch, and the branches touch. You know, that's a beautiful image of the church. We touch each other. We are connected in so many ways. And that's what gives us life. So brothers and sisters, as we celebrate again the season of Easter, we take to heart Jesus' words to us. Just know, my children, John says in the second reading, know, my children, that I am the vine, you are the branches. And he asks us to remain in him. Or a more beautiful translation, I think, is abide. Abide in me, and I abide in you. loving connection that we can have, and the more I can connect with my vine, the less worried I am about what do I have to do? What are the problems I have to solve? I've had some of those sleepless nights, not since being pastor here. And thinking back on some of those less than good sleeps, it's like, oh, why couldn't I say like John the 23rd, look, it's your church, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to bed. You know, it would do me no good anyway to sit here and worry, ponder all this stuff. It'd be a lot better if I have a good night's sleep. And the more I know it's Him, it's Jesus, it's the vine. Just keep drawing source and strength from Him. And here in Eucharist, we certainly know we're drawing upon the vine. We're drawing from the source of life. Every time we enter into this communion with Him, and we enter into communion with each other. So, stay connected to Him. Remain in Him. See if you can't be a good Barnabas or a Barnabas. That would be feminine, I think. I don't know. But let's take the invitation to remain and do our very best to give witness to our faith and to help others find in Him what we are obviously finding in Him ourselves.